content is life and life is content.
That is gold.
I don't believe that the why that we say
Correct.
is the actual why.
Right.
A lot of times we're afraid to say what the real why is.
Yeah.
Because we think it's so. My parents would always ask me 5 whys.
Okay.
Like 5 whys.
5 whys.
5 whys.
Okay.
Like, so why did you take the $100 out of my purse? Because I wanted to do this at school. And why did you want to do this at school? Because I wanted to pay for such and such. And why did you want to pay for it? Because I didn't think you would pay for it. And why did you think that we wouldn't pay for it? I just really wanted to look cool in front of my friends. Now I see. Now we get it.
Yeah.
Parents are very wise like this. And this is something that I've actually incorporated into my coaching, the 5 whys.
Okay.
And you know what the hardest part of this thing is? Is me actually not saying anything except why. Because if you give me an answer, I want to expound. I want to, oh man, let's flesh it out. But the principle of that strategy is one that says you've got to ask the next question. You got to go one level deeper.
Okay.
And when it comes on to content, what's your why?
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't believe that the why that we say
Correct.
is the actual why.
Right.
And when we find what the real why is, it really becomes a compass. It really becomes a true north. And so for the next couple of episodes here on the How It All Works podcast, we're going to be delving into motivation.
Yes.
What is your why? And we're going to start with external motivation. But before we do, I want to share with you, my name is Kirk Nugent, and I get to serve as your host for this podcast. And this is my co-host,
Tyena Nixon.
What's good?
Hi.
Yeah. This has already been fun and refreshing.
Yeah.
In terms of how to create content,
Yes.
This is already better in my opinion. Because just, the talking head videos where you're trying to showcase things, trying to make sure that you got all these pull-ins, pull-outs, dynamics. With the podcast, you don't got to worry about that stuff.
Nah.
It's like, boom, let's just have this conversation.
Just having a conversation and letting our friends be in on it.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Come on in. Pull up a chair.
Yeah.
Get a plate, the red cup with whatever kind of juice that's in there.
Mercy.
And you're here for the cookout.
Yeah.
Let's have this
Let's
conversation.
just chat.
So what external motivation. External motivation. When we look at it, external motivators are things that are outside of us. It seems like it's self-explanatory. External motivators are things that are outside of your own control, outside of your own activity, if you will, right? So I don't have control over if somebody actually subscribes. That's an external motivator.
Okay.
I have control over if I'm consistent.
Right.
If I systematically improve in terms of how my video delivery is. I have control over gaining clarity on who I'm speaking to.
Right.
But I do not have control over if somebody hits that subscribe button. I actually don't have control over if somebody actually watches the video.
Okay.
So external motivators is an area where I actually would like for people to steer away. From because it isn't one that will get you down the long haul, if that makes sense. Like if you're in content creation for real,
right,
and you're gonna really do this thing, then external motivators they are there. Like, so do I want the 10,000 subscribers? Absolutely. Right. And I celebrated when I hit that milestone.
Right.
But
it can't really be my motivation.
That can't be the motivation.
Yeah.
And that's the piece that I want to make sure we kind of dance around a little bit. Of course, we're going to focus on external, but we want to make sure that, you have a base understanding of, even though I can't control it, it doesn't mean I don't celebrate it.
That's right.
When it happens.
I can set those goals and when it happens, it happens.
Absolutely.
But it can't be the only reason that I'm doing what I'm doing.
No, not at all.
Yes.
Not at all. Some other examples of external motivators. Financial.
Yeah.
And
that's a very valid one. in my opinion.
It's as valid as it gets. But here's the thing. So I have this statement, but I like to say, if you want to to create steady streams of referral-based opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody asked me once, why don't you say referral-based income? I'm like, because I can't control the income.
That's right.
But I can tell you that content will. I mean, am I lying?
Nope.
Content will give you the opportunity.
That's right.
It's like I did a play with one guy. His whole purpose for the podcast was to get in front of these two other businesses that are in his space. Right? This was the strategy that we employed. Like he said to me, why would I do a podcast? I was like, tell me what your number one goal or priority is.
Right.
He was like, honestly, I want to get in front. I know this has nothing to do with podcasts, but I want to get in front of those two businesses because they're in my industry and they're bigger than me. And if I find a way to partner with them, I just know that's going to 10x what I'm doing. And so he's looking at me like, I know this has nothing to do with podcasting. I know this has nothing to do with you.
He thought he got you.
And I said, I can put you in front of the two of them.
Wow.
And he was like, no, you can't. I said, yeah, I can. And we designed a podcast. We did a launch.
Wild.
He had no podcast. He had none. We did the clip art. We did the intro and the outro. We did 2 episodes. We did a whole media blitz. Then we had this entire process of inviting guests.
Wow.
And I didn't even go to anybody else.
Wow.
I went to both
directly
of those
to
two
them.
companies and just said, hey, we'd love for you to be a guest on the podcast. His PR people took a look at the branding, the way that the podcast was set up, and they're like, oh, this is dope. And we're right in the same lane.
Right.
We're serving the same people.
That's the niche that they're in, so it makes sense.
So he was like, okay. So their PR people were like, absolutely, we'll get him. We would love to be on the podcast. Thank you for the opportunity to be on the podcast. This guy's like pulling his hair out. So I built into the process a required tech check.
Okay.
So prior to podcast recording, we have a tech check.
Okay.
So in the tech check, I'm just checking your lights, your cameras, your mics, your blah, 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 blah. But I have my client on who wants to be in the room with this guy.
Right.
And I have now the guest.
Yes.
So I do the tech check in 5 minutes.
Brilliant.
I said to my client before we got on this joint, dude.
That's your moment.
Dude, this is it.
That's it.
This is an opportunity.
That's so
now,
smart.
I can't get you the money.
That's right.
But the opportunity is here.
It's there.
I disconnected from that Zoom call. About an hour later, he did not even text me. He called me and was like, I booked the business. I was like, look at that.
Good.
So this guy, this is the part I want to say.
That's so good.
Do you know that we got like 4 views on that part?
Because who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
And the 4 views were y'all,
real talk,
your wife,
me,
and whoever.
Absolutely.
And who cares?
Who cares? Who cares?
That is gold.
But that's what I mean when I say your why
is everything.
It's everything.
It's everything.
It's everything. I'm working with a guy right now who's he's retired. He's recently retired. He's not that old, but he's recently retired. He's had significant success in his life, in his professional career. And he's like, okay, I just want to share the experiences of my life. So he's like, his whole thing, it's solo podcast. He sits down, he records 20, 30 minutes, and he's putting these things out. He's consistently doing them. It's like 2-3 a week.
Okay.
He goes to visit his son, and his grandson is listening to the podcast, his podcast. He came back to me and was like, my life's purpose has been fulfilled.
Literally.
It's been fulfilled. My grandson.
That's so good.
And he got from, subsequent conversations, we learned that it wasn't just that grandson. All his grandkids have been listening to this podcast.
I will cry right now.
I mean,
I will cry right now.
But do you see that?
That's everything.
That's everything. Because content is life, and life is content. But at the end of the day, what's your why? And I think a lot of times we're afraid to say what the real why is.
Yeah.
Because we think it's so disconnected. So here's an easy one. A person says, I want to own my day.
Right.
I want to go where I want to go. Say no to what I want to say no to.
That's right.
And I'm like, yo, content can absolutely, that one's connected. That one's fairly
sort of,
kind of,
but I don't think people think about it that way.
This is true.
They don't think about it that way.
If they're honest with themselves, again, if you go down those levels, you may get to the point where it's like, I really just want to go. Like,
yeah,
one
you know
guy
what it
said,
is?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
What it is, I think, is that a lot of times we think that our purpose has to be about other people. Because that makes you seem noble and like good and like whatever. You know what I mean?
This is so good.
Yeah, because when I think about it, that was my underlying motivation.
Right.
To
serve.
Own my time.
To own your time.
To own my time.
Yeah.
After I had a son.
Yeah.
And I was working for a company that they insisted during the pandemic that I come in to the office in person. This is pre-vaccine.
Come on.
This is like we're struggling to have enough PPE.
Come on.
And I have a 6-month-old when the pandemic first started.
It's a no.
And so they let us work from home for a little bit, but then after a while they're like, y'all got to come back in person. And I'm like, it really upsets me that I am being forced to put my health in jeopardy and the health of my small child in jeopardy for no good reason. Because we had already worked from home. So we've proven that it could be done. Oh my word. Right? So I was just like, it's just not sitting well with me. I don't want to go back to this. So I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I thought about, what do I have in my hand? Like, what do I have right now that I could monetize and like, what do I have in my hand?
Come on.
Because I had been praying about it. I'd been praying about it from before when they didn't give me maternity leave. And that's another story for another day. But I had already been praying about leaving from before. And then I was like, I don't think so. I don't think, because like we said, making money is a totally valid reason.
It's a very valid reason
to go out on your own and do your own thing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So I was like, I don't know how I'm going to make money if I leave. And I'm not one of those people who is like, oh, I'm just gonna take a leap of faith and give it to God. Sometimes God is calling you to do that, but sometimes you do that. You jumped ahead of him.
Sometimes, yes.
And then you're wondering,
what happened, God? I thought
and he's like, I didn't tell you to do that.
No, that wasn't me, bro.
Okay. So I was praying, but I didn't hear him say that yet. So I was like, I'm gonna stay.
Yeah.
And then when it got to that point, I said, okay, I heard a sermon, Pastor Snell. I'm praying, remember, I'm looking for signs. And I got one sign. Somebody called me I've never talked to her on the phone before. Ooh. We weren't even that close. And she told me about how she quit her job at this same company and how God came through for her.
Wow.
And she said, I quit that job just in time for my 40th birthday as a gift to myself.
Get out.
And I said, you're not going to believe me, but exactly 7 days from today, right now that we are talking, is my 30th birthday.
Get out.
And she was like, girl, you better quit that job. You better quit that job for your 30th birthday. And I was like, I gotta pray about it though. Let me just make sure. Let me just make sure. And then Pastor Snell preached a sermon about Moses and what was in his hand.
Oh my!
And his staff was in his hand.
And he's like, I do remember that one.
And I was like, what's in my hand? Like, what would be useful right now that could help propel me into another opportunity where I have the time for my child, I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All these different things. And I had already started sort of creating content, you know, here and there and whatever. And that's what was revealed to me. Like,
gold.
So I was like, yeah, that is my motivation. I want to own my time. I want to do life and business and everything on my own terms. That's it.
I think there's a lot of people who sit squarely in that category. I'm going to try and make this quick, but my story. So this is almost such a good segue from last episode, right? Mm-hmm. But my story with 2020 picks up essentially the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, almost word for word, in that I was working at a school, a higher ed institution here in North Alabama, and they called the tech guys back to work. Mm-hmm. Everybody else was okay, but they called us back to work. Mm-hmm. And so we sat down with the kids, had this conversation that Daddy would be going back to work, and you know, prayed about it. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to be safe.
Right.
I wasn't even thinking about it from the perspective you were, but it's very similar scenario. Mm-hmm. We finish. I'm leaving to go back downstairs, and my daughter says to me, Daddy, so they just call you back and you go? She didn't even wait for me to answer. She just ended by saying, I like mommy's job. Mommy does what she wants when she wants. Out of the mouth of babes. I had felt that it was time, but I didn't have a motivator until I recognized, and then here's another why, that I had some smaller eyes watching me. Right. Like, what are you going to do? You get what I was like that?
No, that took the breath out of my body.
Like, what the heck?
Why would she say that to you?
Oh man, she said they just call you back and you go.
Dang.
What? That arrested me.
No, legit.
My notice was in literally a week or two later. I put in my notice, and anyway, there's a whole other set of motivators, but I think there's it's both and.
Yes.
I want to own my day.
Yeah.
I want to go to the soccer game.
Right.
I want to go to the track meet. I want to go to the band, whatever. I want to go on the trip to Dauphin Island and go in the mud. Right. I want to do the things that work sometimes will not allow you to do.
Correct.
And for many people, that is a motivator that they don't state.
Right.
But that's what it is. And when you state it, it allows you to frame everything properly.
Yes, exactly.
Because if it's like, well, I really want to serve people. You want to, because if you're really not about that life, I mean, that thing can get annoying.
Yes.
Like, I'm tired of seeing the same thing to the same folks, same way. I'm tired. And y'all all want free stuff. So I'm tired of y'all. No, I don't know if that's really what I want to do.
Yeah.
But what I do know unequivocally is that I want to set a good example. And I want to own my day.
Yep.
I want to own my schedule.
And you know what that does too? That allows you to pivot, but still have your foundation.
Absolutely.
Right? So when I first started, I was saying, okay, I want to own my time. I want to be able to do these things. And when I tell you in the span of the last 5 years, I have done so many different things, but they all come back to my why.
Well, your why.
My why.
And that's good.
Right? So I have worked with my husband as a consultant in his company, and I'm still available to do that with him. But then I've also done content creation. Right. I've been paid by brands to promote their products. I've done my own, organic sort of content creation that then paid me from the platform that I'm posting to. I've done all of these different things. And even now I create content on behalf of a company, on behalf of an institution. Right. And all of it still comes back to, is my time my own time? Am I available to be the PTA president at my kid's school?
You go
on his field trips, be available to take him to tutoring.
It's what's
I can
critical.
do all of those things.
Yes.
When it's time for my husband's company to travel,
boom,
I can be there.
You can go.
I can go, and I don't have to ask anybody.
Listen, fam, I'm actually still editing another episode of the How It All Works podcast, and I am super excited that you guys have joined us for this episode that we're listening to right now. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It helps us with sponsorships and some other back office things. But secondly, the next video done masterclass is where I want to invite you. If you have some friction that's causing you to stop, something that's keeping you from creating content and getting to the benefits on the other side of content, which is what the How It All Works podcast is all about, would love for you to come to the masterclass so we can work with you, give you the tools, give you the principles that will allow you to become a content creating machine. So we'll see you back in the conversation and hopefully for the masterclass.
These are the pieces that people don't talk about that we should.
Yes.
Because I think these are actually far greater motivators than I want to go viral.
Right.
Because I literally, it's one of three things. People will say to me, I want a steady stream of referral-based opportunities, right? After we've reframed it, that's what they'll say. I think there's a deeper level to that, but I'm going to leave that alone.
Yeah.
Another thing they'll say is, I want to be an authority voice in my space, in my industry. That is a noble why.
Yes.
But I think that we can ask why again.
Right.
Like, why do you
want to be
a noble?
Right.
And then the third is, I really want to grow and engage an audience. Why? Why do you want to grow and engage an audience? Because I'm passionate about this thing. Okay, now we're talking. Now we're there.
Yeah.
Now we've understood, and you want to grow an audience around this thing that you're passionate about. See, it's so critical, and I don't think I feel like a dead drum by saying value proposition, target audience, value proposition, target audience. Get clarity on these and you will go far. Get clarity on these and your stuff will fly off the shelf.
Can I also say,
go ahead,
content creation can help you also do that.
That's my point.
Content creation can help you like sort of identify, this is what I bring to a table, and this is what people will pay for.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's like, I started creating because I was a blogger. If you didn't watch our last episode, go back and watch our last episode, and you'll kind of understand how we both ended up where we are today. In short form. But I was just blogging, sort of sharing my life, sharing my new motherhood as I worked for this company and like an emerging leader. But then as I left that company, right? And I'm also not sure what can I offer to people outside of the pictures and the captions and the videos.
Right.
What is like the root of what I am offering, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm used to doing that in the 9-to-5 workspace.
Nice.
What can I bring to people here? As I'm sharing content about my life, I'm writing my long captions because we know I love to do that. And women start saying to me, "Do you coach?
Yep.
Do you?" Because what you're doing and what you're talking about and how you're sharing it, I want to know how to do that in my own life. Do you coach? Do you mentor?
Yeah.
And I'm like, actually, I was literally a professional mentor.
That's good.
In my 9-to-5 space. I trained other mentors. I actually have that skill set. But if I wasn't creating content just as a content creator, I don't think I would have uncovered that is a gift that I have that. It's not that my job gave me that. That's something inside of me. I am good at coaching and helping people, right?
Yeah.
So if I had just said, I just want to help people, right?
You wouldn't have gotten
I
there.
never would have. I don't think I would have gotten there. Not that way.
Content doing the thing is how you get to the thing.
That's right.
Like you gotta start moving your feet. Start moving your feet in a particular direction.
Yeah.
And you will begin. You kind of hone in on clarity. I said this to a coaching client early beginning of the year because everybody has clarity at the beginning of the year.
Of course.
Things. I'm gonna be. And I was saying to them like, just pick 3 because they had like 20.
Yeah.
And I was like, pick 3.
Yeah.
And start pushing.
Yes.
And see which one is gaining traction.
That's right.
So when I started was tech, media, and leadership. That was how it all works. Tech, media, leadership.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah.
The media is what
that's what took off.
and then under the media brand,
Yeah.
I still put the tech.
That's right.
Under the media brand, I still put the leadership.
That's right.
So, but the media is what that's where the need was, that people were clamoring. I mean, I put out a video on StreamYard and folks were like, oh my God, we need more. And so that became, and again, it was this whole scenario of, I really want to showcase for people how they can stop banging their head against the wall and do it a way that feels more natural.
Right.
I have language for that today. I did not have that language.
That's right.
When I was beginning. I didn't know that's what I was doing.
Yes.
Until you start to ask people. I mean, I remember being in a Masterclass session and doing Q&A. Once we finished with Q&A, I just kind of asked for feedback. And one guy was like, if you explain it, I'll get it. Like I don't even know how to say it. I'm not even here for anything specific. I just know if Kirk explains it, I get it.
Wow.
Because there are so many other things that other people have tried to explain to me before.
Yeah.
But when you explain it,
I
get it. So that's why I'm here. And I just kind of sat there like,
okay.
What?
Yeah.
That's new. and so that's what I also want to dispel is like the motivator thing is something you're also going to be gaining clarity on.
Yes, over time.
You
don't have to know it up top. You don't have to know everything up top.
Free them up.
Yeah.
You do not need to know.
Yeah.
You need to
start with something.
Yeah, you do need to recognize what's internal, what's external. And so some of the other ones, I just want to run down the list here real quick. We talked about financial reward, money, lead generation, recognition and validation is another, right? Thought leader, industry recognition, views, likes, metrics, audience engagement, collabs and networking. That's a big one. For some people, it's I want to be seen on the same flyer as so and so.
Okay.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with
I
want to
get into a room with this company like you're like that
there
guy.
You go.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. Brand/influence, right? So having a personal brand, having reach.
Yes.
And then legacy, documentation for future generations. So we kind of touched on some of those, but these are
motivators.
Some of the motivators that we know can really have impact, and there isn't a right or a wrong. So even while we're saying your external motivator can't necessarily be the rock solid, like that's not the thing. It's not that we're saying you can't choose that. We're just saying that's not it.
That's not it. You should go deeper, find something else to anchor you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what
something that you can control.
Something you can control.
Right.
Something that is like,
matters to you.
Oh my word. Like my coach asked us in a group coaching call a week or two ago, what will you never outsource? I don't think anybody ever asked me that question. And I was like, only the video, like this part, like me being on camera. That's the only thing. I would not outsource. I don't care about any of the other parts of the process.
I think my captions, what I write, my messaging, I could never give that to somebody else. Okay. I could never give that to somebody because
I definitely could see that being a thing for me as well. But I honestly haven't even answered the question yet. I just sat with it. I wrote down some things on a list, but I just feel like they're superficial. I still need to kind of really go a little deeper. But I like that my brand,
your actual voice.
Yeah,
because it's
and maybe
so
that's what
hard.
I'm saying when I say being on camera.
Right.
But yeah,
because I've done it for other people.
Yeah,
I do that for other people. So we talked about my one 9-to-5 job that I ended up leaving.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I worked for a government agency, and they were just getting into, this was about 10 years ago.
Nice.
And they were just getting into like taking the government agencies' surveillance data and reporting onto social media.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, we understand that's where the world is. That's where the eyes are. And we need to talk to the public
about these things.
Things. But I was, again, working in surveillance and not surveillance, like not what you guys are thinking about. You're thinking about like Big Brother,
sure.
like the government watching you, and
that's
they
exactly
are.
what my mind
and
went
the
to.
government is watching
and they
you.
are watching.
That's not what I'm talking about, though. I'm talking about surveys. We're doing surveys to find out what the public is doing in regards to a specific health issue.
This is super interesting.
Yeah. So in my case, it was tobacco. Okay. We wanted to know how people were using tobacco, how they were affected by it, how their health was affected by it. Our children, this is where you get stats like secondhand smoking is just as bad as smoking.
Yes.
You find that out from surveillance, right? So somebody did that work however long ago to find out and work with data and scientists to find out in the medical field to find that out, right?
Social impact.
That's right. So that's the kind of work that I was doing. And I sort of fell into the communication aspect of it. So I'm a public health educator. That's what I went to school to do.
Right.
But part of that is learning communication so that you can speak to the general public. There you go. Right. And so because that was my role on the surveillance team, they were like, I think, and I was the youngest. And they were like, you know the internet. You know about Twitter. Can you tweet?
What is this stuff?
And I was like, I guess. I also never told my job that I was on the internet because they don't need to see what I'm doing in my personal life on the internet. So they're like, are you familiar with Twitter? I was like, I don't know. What's Twitter? I've never been on there. But sure, whole time I have like a year's long digital footprint on Twitter. Exactly. But they were like, you're young, you can figure it out, and you're a health communicator. Nice. You know how to take science and turn it into language, like every day, because everyday people do not speak science, and scientists don't know how to speak every day. When it comes to our our area,
totally different.
And so that was my job for a little bit, was taking science about surveillance on tobacco and turning it into information that the public can digest and put into practice and like make it useful for them. So I learned to be the voice of an organization or an institution.
Got it.
And that was just a skill set in my back pocket. Then I was doing it personally as well. Right. And now you know that I, as part of my consulting, I am the voice for an institution here. That's right. For entities here.
Awesome. So
that is, it's something that I can do for other people, but I don't think I want anybody to do it for me.
And you know what's wild? Even as you're saying that, there are brand deals that I've had where they gave me language that did not go well. And then there are brand deals that they just let me do my thing. Yep. Those went well.
Same. And I learned to start saying to them, hey, this is going to go off much better.
Much better.
It's going to like connect with my audience much more if it's in my language. And I will run it by you.
Yeah.
I will run it by you, but I
have since gotten rid of that part too.
You're not running it by
you. I'm not re-recording. No, we need to agree on the front end. We've got to agree on the front end what we're doing.
Yes.
And then when we have that agreement,
then I'm gonna go.
I'm running.
That's fair.
Because I just I've been burned where that's concerned. But anyway, that's a whole other thing for another time. But I love what you're sharing, and I think there is the whole motivator piece is something that we each have to grapple with on our own.
Yeah.
I want to say this as we get ready to land this joint. External motivation is usually painted in the negative. And there can be some good reasons for that. There can be some good reasons for that. And we kind of touched on some of that as well. But every internal motivation has external benefits. And that is a piece that we don't combine the two. I like to, I have this habit or this technique of niche stacking.
Okay.
Right, because
Yeah.
if you have two different areas, like we had a guy on the podcast, and his thing was video, but then he's also in finance.
Okay.
And he's like, I really don't know how to merge the two. I was like, just put them on top of one another. He's like, what? I was like, what's the finance behind video?
Right.
Oh, well, this. I said, nobody's talking about that.
Right.
So, once you stack them, you kind of have this whole other niche.
Right.
And now you get to be the expert in that niche because
Right.
nobody's talking about the two together.
Right.
So that's niche stacking. But when we look at it from motivators that are internal, motivators that are external, but if we stack them, you begin to see the fuller picture of the motivator. So you want to own your day. I want to own my day.
Yeah.
But what is the external benefit of that is that I can show up.
That's right. I can be available to other people.
I can.
Yeah.
And those benefits are very real and tangible benefits that we can touch, taste, feel.
That's right. That's right.
Those aren't your motivator. Those are your benefits. And I want to just kind of carve that. I want to challenge somebody who's listening today to think about, what is your why? What is your why? Just drop us an email, info@howitallworks.com, or put it in the comment section underneath the video if you're watching this on YouTube. What is your why?
Yeah.
And then ask yourself, why?
Why is that my why?
Your why? And maybe even as a bonus or extra credit, as if you're going to get extra credit for real. Where do you categorize it, as a benefit or a motivator?
Okay.
As a benefit or a motivator?
Yeah. That's good.
That's going to give you some clarity.
It is. And I can just say,
absolutely.
As a life coach, I find that you really have to also think about it from the perspective of your entire life. Yeah. Right?
Oh, good. I'm so glad you said this.
Right? You need to zoom out. That is an exercise that I do with every client, like session 2. We cannot go very far until we start there. We're going to zoom out.
Get a 50,000-foot view.
Exactly. Of your life. Yes. What you want, what your life is right now, but also what you want it to be.
What you want it to be.
What you can imagine that your life could be if you were co-authoring your life with God.
Oh, wow.
Right? Like if you were working with God together to create a life that you loved, but that also brought him glory.
Yes.
What would that life look like?
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yeah.
Then from there, if we're talking content, right?
Yeah. Maybe that's the vehicle.
Maybe that's the vehicle.
Maybe. Yeah.
Right? How does that content creation serve that life?
That thing. Ooh.
The life that how will it fit? How will it facilitate?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because for some people, it's not going to be the same for everybody.
It's not.
Content creation might not be your whole life, right? Because maybe you have a 9-to-5 that you really like and that you're very good at. You're fulfilled by, right? It pays well. Yeah. And y'all are going to get to know me. I don't have no problem with a check every 2 weeks. I don't have no problem with that.
With a check.
I'm never going to tell you.
Okay.
That insurance.
with a health insurance.
The health
dental,
insurance.
vision. Come on.
I'm never going to argue with you about that. That's why I prayed and I prayed and I prayed again before I left that job.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want people to get confused that we're saying that you have to be a full-time content creator.
Never said
and
that.
your why has to be to own your life through content creation.
No.
But there could be gifts that you have that aren't on display at your job.
There it
or
is.
Gifts that you have that you learn in your workspace or you learn from going to school for the work that you do, but other people need it. Maybe the body of Christ need it.
Right.
Maybe women need it.
Right.
Maybe men need it.
People who have been affected the way you've been affected.
That's right.
And
your story that you want to share, that you need to tell, that can help save or serve other people. You might not be able to do that in your 9-to-5 in the way that you want to.
Yeah.
So I just want to make it clear that you got to pull out, look at your life, and then really see how can this serve that life.
I love that. Oh, that's so good. That is so good. There's so many different pieces there that I want to jump on, but we need to close this one. We'll be back for another. In fact, in our next episode, we're going to be talking about internal motivators. We kind of touched on some of them. What we really touched on was like the base motivators.
Yeah.
But what are some of the internal motivators? So we want to make sure you guys get a chance to come back and hang out with us for that. This is the How It All Works podcast. We hold space here for content creators, for entrepreneurs, for those who really feel that content could be a vehicle. I love this framework of a vehicle to launch them towards where they would like to be,
Yes.
where they would like to go, the life they would like to live. And if that's you, keep it locked. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let us know in the comment section what you thought. We want to hear from you. I'm your host, Kirk Nugent. This is my co-host,
Tyena Nixon. It was great seeing you guys.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys
See you next time.
in the next one.